baby.
This thing's a fun truck, but it's definitely not a fun truck.
We're gonna rip every bit of this totally out and just start over.
We're gonna bring this thing into the 21st century.
Great Coyote. Should be putting a little over 7 after the tuning.
It's a big old motor in a small little place, man.
The side-by-side is great to get out and just have a good time with the family. It's time for an upgrade.
I want to build an all-tube buggy. If this isn't a ground-up build, I don't know what it is.
Oh, look at my girl. Look at my girl.
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
You know, I always like seeing a new project roll through the doors. Go rolls up, but popping out of the driver's seat. The beast has landed. Bill is Ted Nugent.
Are these the greatest trucks in the world?
They are, man. I'm a big fan of the Broncos, for
Original
sure.
Bronco. It's an icon, man. I've been Broncoing my whole life. I got my first one in 1970. I got a 66. I got a 73. I got a big Bill Strop fire-breathing 90. I've always had Broncos. I love my Broncos. But this one I probably had for 30 years. My beloved 1974 Ford Bronco. This is my baby. What you guys do here are miracles of wrench dreams, and I can't wait for you to turn my beast into my dream.
What are you doing with this?
Well, I want it to always be an old Bronco. You know, the look, the history, the icon. I want it to be tough, dependable, highway and Baja. And I know you can do it. I've seen what you've done.
Absolutely.
Probably a lot more horsepower, a lot more torque.
I got something in mind for that.
I bet you got something in mind for horsepower and torque. Bottom line is I want performance and fun. I want it all.
Ted's a Bronco owner, has been all his life. He's had these things since these things were new. So he knows all about the Broncos and he knows exactly what he wants.
So power, performance, reliability is a given.
Number one.
So underneath this thing,
Drive line, the drive shafts, heavy duty stuff.
everything 100%, just bulletproof.
Yep. Well, I need a Baja capable suspension as if I was going to go race in an off-road race, which I did for about a dozen years.
What are you working with under here?
I know you pivot as I do on the heart of the beast, and here we have the heart of the beast. It's a beautiful 360 stroker that really performs well and delivers close to what I'm dreaming of.
Popping the hood on this thing, you see the engine that's in it. It's all right, but this is for Ted Nugent. It's got to have a lot of power.
I think the best thing to do with this is just rip all this out. Every bit of wiring, the engine, the trans, and just start fresh.
Bill Strop would be proud.
This is going to be fun.
I know black trucks are cool as hell, but I've seen some of yours. Deep, dark bronze, copper, and all the accessories keep them black. How am I doing? I'm just a guitar player. That sounds pretty good,
That
doesn't
sounds real good.
The bronze look on this thing with black accents, that's definitely going to make this thing as unique as its owner.
Do keep my Freedom Eagle. This is my Freedom Eagle. I know this might not be preferable to some custom truck designers, but when you're all done, put my Eagle back on.
All right, you got it. So what do you got on the interior of this thing?
Well, you know, you and I share a dream in the exterior, and I'm sure we share that dream on the interior. Are too big. The roll cage you're going to have to extensifize for me. But I want you to recommend stuff every step of the way because your trucks are the best I've ever seen.
Well, I already know what to do. We're going to rip every bit of this totally out and just start over. New gauges, new steering wheel, new everything. Something just comfortable.
I've had so much fun working on my trucks all these years, and I know these guys at Extensive, they love their work. This is their dream job. And this is my dream project. We have a dream, and we share it. Bring my beast to life, Bill.
You got it.
You know, this old Bronco, it was built to be used. This thing is just meant to go out and conquer things. You know, every button on this thing, every handle, lever is built for a purpose. You know, just looking over this thing, seeing all the modifications been done in the past, it's way outdated. Its time is over. There's so many things we can build at the shop that just gonna bring this thing into the 21st century and make something really, really, really cool for Ted. Before we start cutting up this Bronco, I really need to take it on a spin and really see what old Ted's working with. When I'm out on a test drive with a vehicle like this, you kind of feel how much power it has. You feel how it handles, how it just drives down the road. You just kind of see where all the improvements need to be. In this case, everything needs to be improved. This thing's a fun truck, but it's definitely not a fun truck. It was good in the past, but now it isn't cutting it. As you can see, didn't take much to get this thing stuck. We're gonna get it unstuck, get it back to the shop so we can cut this thing up.
What do you think about the old Bronco? Pretty cool, huh?
That's real cool.
You know, I had to test drive it, and I kind of, I might have got it stuck in the mud a little bit. You know, it definitely doesn't have the power that it needs.
Bill Carlton said something don't have power.
Yeah.
Only 9 out of 10 times.
Ted wants to get in this thing and drive it wherever, however.
Off-road, jump, whatever he wants.
He's going to abuse this thing. I want this thing to be able to go 100 miles an hour down the road and just haul ass home.
So he drives just like you.
You know, I might have to drive it home and test it out a day or two, just to make sure it's good for him before we give it back, right? First thing we need to do is get it up on the lip so we can strip out all the old suspension. Everything's got to go. We'll build a super strong, bulletproof 4-link suspension, coilovers, front and rear, something that he can just launch this thing. Got a Stroker 360 in there. Looks nice, decent. It was real cool back in the 80s, but it's definitely not going to cut it now. Rip everything in here, all the wiring, everything 100% out of here. Going to put a brand new 5.0 with supercharger on it.
This little thing with supercharger.
Right? Once we get all the suspension built, John and the guys over in the interior shop can start building him something real cool. Recover everything, rip out all the old and put back in what's needed. As far as the exterior, of course I like black cars, but in this case, he picked a bronze copper color. Of course, we'll put our little spin on that to really get the color right on it.
We're getting rid of the Eagle, right?
Man, he was pretty set on having the Eagle on the hood, so I don't know if I can talk him out of that one. This Bronco over the years. But we're gonna tear all that out. The old suspension, drive shafts, shocks, you name it. So we can start all over again.
Well, there is a bunch of stuff in here.
Bunch of everything bolted down.
So what we'll do, I guess, is take the hood, flip it all the way back, and then pull everything out from the top. So we'll take everything, just fold it over on top of the motor, put it on a pallet, wrap it up, and then we'll get ready to put the Coyote in it. Jamie, watch your fingers so this thing goes slow and then jump.
Okay. All right, back up. Let me see that prop bar. Let the truck down some, just a little bit.
Now we have it out, we're gonna wrap it up with some plastic, put all the parts on this pallet. We'll ship that back to Ted. He's got 4 or 5 other Broncos. He liked this motor so much, he's gonna put it in something else.
Yeah, buddy. Look what I got for you today. Great Coyote, a little supercharger on top. Should be putting a little over 7 after the tuning.
This thing's gonna be a huge improvement to what we pulled out of that thing.
This is gonna be 100% American flag waving rock and roll.
Going down. Good? Yeah, good so far.
A big part of the custom world is creating custom details, even in places you don't always look.
It's a big old motor in a small little place, man. That thing fits in there perfect.
This 5.0 Coyote is really gonna wake up this 74 Bronco, but we definitely can't leave its engine bay looking stock.
Basically, when you open this hood, it looks squared. This bed liner did just look like an old Bronco. So we're adding these panels in here. These two here to take up the sides. Now we're gonna do the front panel that covers the radiator. Kind of made a rough template. This will give us a rough estimate where we need to be. We'll cut this piece out of a piece of sheet metal. It's gonna fit right on the truck the first time. You know, that's a good part about doing what we do is there's no real book on how to do it. Everybody has their own different way. So with this, it's just kind of free reign to do whatever you want, as long as it makes the engine bay look better and when it's rather than just a bunch of scanning and print. What do you think, buddy? You got a cold-ass nose. You know, this is another example of, like, geometry in school, trying to read out of a book, wasn't happening. Now, in the shop, whether it's a suspension, it's placing a bag, panels, we use it all the time. Hands-on geometry, I love. Trying to figure things out, trying to figure out angles, this and that. If I would have hands-on learned it like this, I would have been a straight A student. See how this engine bay is starting to come together now. Behind here, we'll have all the computers, the wires, everything hidden. So when you open the hood, it makes all your attention go to this motor. We want to give him 100% effort on this engine bay. When you open it, it's just a wow factor.
John, help us drive this top off.
Ted's Bronco just isn't for show. So I have Tim and John building a custom lift that's gonna give this Bronco a ton of travel and it's gonna ride super smooth.
So in the back of this Bronco, we're doing a triangulated four-link instead of just your traditional parallel four-link with a panhard coming in towards the frame and the upper arms starting narrow and go wide towards the frame. And that's what keeps the rear end centered underneath this truck. In my honest opinion, this suspension design is way better for like off-roading or jumping stuff. If you jump off the ground or hit bumps or uneven roads, this thing stays centered as the axle does this. And that's what we want because he is going to be off-roading this truck. So he has to have the best suspension articulation for it. Now we got a four-link in place, exactly where we want our rear end. We can break these braces out of here and cycle the suspension up and down. Articulates pretty good, Timmy. This thing's gonna drive really, really good.
So when this Bronco came in, it was originally leaf spring, where the leaf spring held the Bronco up. I need room for the coilover to go to here, up, and as you can see, we're gonna run into the body. So I'm gonna come in here where they've already notched it back for their shock. I'm gonna cut the body out of the way, and then we'll have room to mount the coilover however we want to mount it properly without having to go around the body. This is the notch on the bottom. So we're gonna continue this line back, flush with the back. I'm gonna cut this, and this will eventually move out to here, and we'll skin the middle back in. As you can see, this thin wall tubing definitely was not gonna hold the truck up. So it's basically made for a shock, not for a coilover.
Off-roading's come a long way since this Bronco rolled off the lot in 1974. And while we're bringing the suspension in the 21st century, John and Brian are gonna update the interior.
What's up, man?
What we got?
We got parts. We got a new project going on.
What we got today?
So, man, I'm thinking on the door panels, I brought some interesting parts.
Your heat shield?
AR heat shield. What I'm thinking is we take these and use these as armrests. And we can take these rail mounts and get these mounted to the door, take this with the Picatinny rails in it, and bolt it in place. And then,
pretty solid.
Yeah, and then down on the bottom of this door, just to break up that flatness, well, I'm thinking we just take out of some ABS plastic and make our own Picatinny rails. And we just wrap the door panel over top of those, and this thing will come together pretty quick.
Let's get it. Got my piece of ABS here. What I'm fixing to start doing is I'm gonna put this on this table saw. With this data blade here, it'll cut us the right width that we need to start making our mock-up Picatinny mounts out of plastic. So now that I've got this panel all cut down to mimic the Picatinny rails, now I gotta cut it into thinner strips so it carries the same design all the way through. Now that these are all cut, you notice these are square versus these are beveled over. And then we'll run them back through so we can bevel the edges to make it mimic perfect. See my bevels here? We are matching now. Our dado blade cuts these little lines in here. We got to get those out of there. What we use this tucking tool. You can just get them in there and push them, pop it loose.
These things are gonna look real cool, man.
I think so. I like how they're turning out.
Let's see where we want to put that at. We got everything cut, modified, ready to go. Get it marked out so we can get the holes drilled in. And then we'll take these rails here that Brian just finished up. We'll get these on the bottom of the door. Get everything locked into place. Once it's all locked in, this panel will be ready to wrap and get it on the truck.
Even though we're as busy as we are, I got to make a little time to take the kids out to nature. You know, just clear my mind. Ted's been a huge part of the off-road community for many years, and working on this Bronco has made me think about something that I had in mind for quite a while. You know, it's no secret, I'm kind of hard on my vehicles. I hadn't found one yet that'll hold up 100% of the time when I'm driving. So, I'm gonna start building my own.
It's time for an upgrade.
That was fun.
Yeah. Are you gonna build one of these?
Maybe. Yeah. You know, that one's fun, that one goes fast, and it crawls over stuff, but I know we can build something way, way bigger and better.
So does Mom know you want to build one of these?
She don't need to know everything. You know, I've been thinking about this project for quite some time. You know, after taking the kids out, this project I'm getting really, really excited about. Side-by-side game has just gotten unbelievably crazy. I mean, these things are 1,000cc, 170 plus horsepower right out of the box. It feels like you're, you know, in a slingshot. But still, those things are very limited. There's always a belt gonna break, ball joint gonna snap every time you take them out. I just want something totally one of a kind, unique, and indestructible. I got 4 really big things on the back of this record to get started with.
What is this? Those are some big tires.
Right? Yeah, 58 inches tall, 24-inch rim.
Wow. Man, what are your plans with this thing?
You know, the side-by-side is great to get out and just have a good time with the family, but it's definitely limited, right? Well, with these, I want to build something that just pretty much limitless.
That's really scary coming from you.
Right.
Really scary. So you want to build a buggy from nothing.
We're going to build everything around these tires.
That's going to be fun.
Big shocks, big 4-link with big military axles, so I'll never have to worry about snapping axle or anything like that. All tube chassis and big Cummins diesel in this thing.
Oh, diesel?
Yeah, just over the top and just indestructible is what I want.
You found the limitations on your Baja truck. You found the limitations on your side-by-side. I know you're going to push this to the limitations.
Well, you know, you got to test everything out to see where those limits are, right?
So does your wife know about this?
You know, Keegan asked me the same thing. She ain't got to know everything. Right?
All right.
You know, most of the time, you're starting out with a car, a truck, lifted, lowered. You got a kind of an idea of what you're starting out with tires. That's it. Pretty much all of this build is in my head. One of the first things when you're designing something like this is figuring out the parameters. The overall look totally depends on the wheelbase, the stance. You know, once you get the tires in place, once those proportions look good, first you get the floor built. You figure out where the engine's gonna be. You figure out where the seats are gonna be. Once that's established, then you start building the cage itself. Then you start building the front end around the engine. Then you start building the rear end around shocks. All that comes into play, and you can only establish that in stages. Once you establish all that, you can actually start cutting some metal and start building.
finished the custom four-links on the Bronco. Now John and Tim are going to make rear shock towers.
Now, due to having a tall, long travel shock, we have to go higher with the shock mount. So we had to build this hoop that's going to get welded to the frame and raised up about a good 10 inches higher so the top of the shock come out way up in the truck, which is going to give us the distance we need to eliminate that long travel shock. Like about a half inch from the bottom there. Now we got our shock tower in place. All we got to do now is make our shock mounts to attach the shock from here down to the axle.
Are you done now?
I'm waiting on you. Now I got the shock in place, set up at right height. Now I just got to add some reinforcements to the shock tower that are going to go a little something like that, connected down to the frame. Put me some reference lines up there, get them spaced right. You got to cut on that line there. Not only is it going to give this shock tower a whole lot more strength, but it also has the signature extensive aesthetic with this little step out here on the frame and then the tubing butted up to it. Now, if you see a style like this out on the road, you know this came from extensive. Ted's gonna abuse the crap out of this Bronco. So he's gonna need some good coilover shocks to go with this heavy-duty suspension we're building on it. These ain't your ordinary shocks you go pick up at an auto parts shop. These are the shock will handle. We're gonna mock up one of the shocks without the springs on it at right height. Long travel suspension means that your suspension will articulate a lot more than what a stock suspension would. And in this case, you got 12 inches of suspension travel on this truck. Wish I had 4 of them for my truck. Then I'd paint it and wash it.
Nice. All right, so we got our new foams for Ted's Bronco. These have been modified a little bit. They've got these bolsters made into them to help hold him in the seat a little better. What we're gonna do here, we're gonna take our foams, we're gonna start drawing out our patterns on this so we can get it all figured out and get everything to size. That way we can take that and transfer that from our foam into our material, and then we'll have something to sew together. I'm just transferring my patterns into this chipboard here for my insert. We'll cut this out. So what I'll do is I'll just use these pieces to get everything lined out and drawn out on top of my vinyl. All right, got it all drawn up, everything's laid out. Next thing I'm gonna do, sit down and start sewing. There's some thread in this material on this because you want to make sure that you turn and your last stitch will land exactly on the point where you want to turn, because if you're off on your turn just a little bit, it won't line up with the next line, then your whole pattern gets off. That's done. Now all we gotta do is cut it out. All right, that's one piece of one part to the mini parts we have to make. So I gotta get started on this. We'll get everything transferred on the rest and get them all cut out and start sewing them together.
With the new Coyote, custom shocks, suspension, it's really important to keep the Bronco running straight. And John's working on that right now.
Now that we're done with the suspension, all we got to do is add the steering shocks to stabilize the steering. With these big wheels and tires, you need some kind of absorption to absorb all the shock that the tires are going to be going through. So we're going to put 2 of these in line as so, and these are going to take all the shock out of the steering. So I got my mounts cut out, and these are going to be placed here, centered with the differential. We're going to mount 2 shocks here, one going this way, one going that way, fixed to the steering. Now we got the shock mount in, shocks mounted, everything's in line. Now all we got to do is make the last final 2 tabs on each end. We're going to bolt these up to the end of the shock, 21 3/4. That's what we want. We'll attack that, then we'll steer it to the right, attack that side. Now we got the steering shocks on. As you can see, it steers left and right. It's gonna make for a smoother ride while Ted's taking this thing off-roading.
Now that John's finished up with the steering on the Bronco,
ready to get this body off?
It's time to blow apart the frame and suspension.
We're gonna get this frame moved out of the way, get another dolly in here to set the body on, and get the body over to the body shop. Now that we got the chassis out from underneath the body, we got the shocks off out of the way, it's time to finish welding everything out since everything's just tacked in place for now. Get that all welded out, get the engine off, and then this will get sent off powder coat.
You know, this year I want to build something, you know, I've never built before. Of course, with any project, you want something, you know, pretty much indestructible. You got to start out with some indestructible parts. So I'm going to meet up with a friend of mine, Charlie. He's got some military trucks in his property, so we're going to dig around, see what we can come up with to really get this project started. What up, Charlie?
What's going on, Bill?
Man, I need your help. You know, I want to build a buggy, just something I can take anywhere and do anything with, just something totally indestructible. And I know you got those military trucks back there. What better axles to use than those big old deucing ass?
I got them hid back there in the bushes. It's growed up pretty good, but we're gonna have to get past the guard donkey.
You got a guard donkey?
I carry carrots, so they don't bite you. Me and Bill go way back. We've been friends for about 25 years. They called me. I had a tow truck at the time. I went out there and he had a truck, the airbag blowed out of it.
Man, you really do have a donkey.
Got it up on the truck, got it hauled to the shop and dropped off without any damage to it. We've been friends ever since. Here's a carrot. You're gonna have to become his friend before the day is up.
Come here, buddy.
I got a donkey because the donkey is loud. You can pet him, it's all right. Dog bark, you know, there's dogs barking all the time, but when you hear my donkey hollering, you know somebody's in the yard.
Man, he don't look to have whatever I want, huh?
Yeah.
Come on, where are these axles at?
Back there in the back.
Charlie, you got crap everywhere.
I got a hoarding disorder.
Yeah. That's a totally different show.
This place, we've been here about 20 years. I collect a little bit of everything. I got boats, jet skis, front end loaders, fuel tank, Volkswagens, Jeeps.
What are you gonna do with this?
Thinking about making a restaurant out of it one day. Well, you know, I might make a hunting cabin. The houseboat, I was gonna take it out to my place on the lake, but the community rules didn't like the idea of me bringing it up there and making a cabin out of it, so this is as far as it's gotten. Well, here she is.
That's exactly what I need, Charlie. What, he's 2.5 tons?
Yes, sir.
You got a tree growing through this thing. How long has this been back here?
Well, we count the rings on that tree. It'll tell you how long it's been sitting there.
Well, this is it, man. You know, I can't haul this thing.
No, I'll get the loader and drag it out.
Man, I know you're going to give me a good deal on these things.
I'll figure out something for you to trade out on. You might have to get some carrots from a donkey.
All right. Got it. Been a while since these have been operational, so we'll need to fix them up. But these axles are exactly what I need for my buggy. If this isn't a ground-up build, I don't know what it is. So far, we have axles and tires for my off-road buggy. Because we're building this from scratch, sourcing the right parts is even more important. And the list, it just keeps growing.
What's up, boss?
What's up, man? Need some parts.
For your buggy? Need a lot of parts.
Got the diesel engine.
Diesel?
Diesel family. Bring the engine. Bring the trans. We got tires. We need column, steering wheel, seats. Because all of the builds in my head, each part we get just kind of influences the next one. We need wheels. We need big wheels, 24 by 16.
Beadlocks?
Yeah. Gotta have to make them.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have somebody make those.
Yeah. Shocks. We need big shocks.
So we want like some big 2.5 or a 3 with a big remote reservoir.
Correct.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, you already know. Once we get all the parts, we can never build here at the shop before. And we'll get there, I promise you that.
I think that's a manageable list. I think you can knock that out pretty quick.
With this being a personal build and us being as busy as we are, it's going to be slow and steady. You know, I finally want something that will hold up to my driving.
That's a tall order, but
right?
That's what we got to do then.
That's what we're doing.
Right on. I'm with it.
We're doing it.
It's going to be awesome.
While the body guys are finishing up on the 74 Bronco, John's getting that much closer to buttoning up that custom interior.
Got the panels all ready to wrap, and cool idea just turned into a pain in the butt idea.
Let's build Picatinny rails. You need to wrap them in vinyl. I'm gonna start questioning from now on what these great ideas are.
Working on these door panels, they've been a real pain to get these details, but that's kind of what we do around here, you know. We make it different, try to outdo ourselves. You know, I've never made a Picatinny rail before, much less tried to wrap one, but that little detail is what stands us apart from everybody else. Just like that, the door panel for the Bronco is finished. So all of our time so far has just been spent making pieces and patterns and panels and all that good stuff. So now all we gotta do is sit down here and put it. We wanted to personalize these a little bit for Ted. Had the embroidery shop embroider his logo directly onto it. It's gonna look pretty cool up on top of the seat. All right, that's the last pieces of the covers for Ted's truck. Test fit these, just make sure they fit just right. The logo turned out really nice up here, gives it a nice personal touch. Everything worked out good. The lines are nice and neat and straight. Get this thing buttoned up, we'll get them in the truck and be just about done.
Ted said he wanted stray away from the black. He wanted some color this time. And he said he wanted some, you know, like a bronzy, kind of coppery color. So I'm looking through little color chips to kind of see what would look cool. I'm definitely feeling the copper color, but finding that right one is always difficult. We're getting close. Feeling that a little bit, but I think that's a little too dark. I think that right there, I think that's it right there. The perfect color for Ted's Bronco. Every color kind of plays upon the wheels, tires, the stance. You know, when it's picking the color for myself, nothing to it. Hey, I like that color. But when you're picking a color, you want to make sure it's right for sure. All the metal fabrication, all the interior, all the wheels, tires, suspension, all that is void if the color isn't right. So this is a crucial stage in any build. I think probably a black roof along with glossy black suspension, maybe color match bead locks on the wheels. That'd just totally make for not only a huge transformation, but just something that just looks mean, and Ted's gonna be happy to be seen in this. Ted said he wanted to transform this Bronco into a beast. And seeing the rolling chassis come together, new wheels, tires, with a custom supercharged Coyote.
Tilt up to it, right there.
You know, I don't think you could call it anything else except a beast.
There is a Bronco cult, and I may be the czar of the Bronco command because someone thought I was. I really am. I was born in Detroit in '48, and you add the horsepower Detroit guy to a bow hunting outdoor maniac like me, and by the time I got my first Bronco in 1970, I thought I was like Mickey Thompson and Bill Strop and Parnelli Jones at the Baja, even though I was only in a swamp in the Michigan woods. Those off-road races were the research and development of what we now enjoy, even with the brand new Broncos coming out. There's Bronco Dreams, and then there's Texas Metal Extensive Bronco Dreams. I can't wait to get behind the wheel and just go nuts.
We're almost done with Ted Nugent's 74 Bronco. But before we give it back, I want to surprise Ted with one more detail that I know he'll love.
That's a whole lot better placed in the hood. That's pretty cool. Freedom Eagle.
We've been working on this Bronco for him for quite some time. It's a huge journey, a lot of work, and he did. If we did all right, or if it's Ted Nugent approved.
Bill, good to see you.
Man, good to see you, man. Good to see you.
I can't wait to see what you've done to my girl. I have these big dreams.
You know, I'd be lying if I say I'm not nervous right now about what you think about your truck, because I know you have such extensive history
Yes.
with Broncos. I know you know every nut and bolt on a Bronco.
I do, yeah. I might know the history of Broncos, but I'm looking forward to the future of the extensive Bronco, because I have a funny feeling that this is unprecedented. And if you would please bring me my girl ASAP before I go nuts.
I'm ready to show you this. We've been all working hard.
Let the Bronco games begin.
Let's check it out.
Oh, look at my girl. Look at my girl. Bill, you're my man. You're my Bronco daddy. Oh, praise the mighty Bronco. This is a dream come true, Bill. And thank you so much. This is exactly what I envisioned. Say hallelujah, Bronco cult everywhere. It sounds beautiful. It looks beautiful. It smells beautiful. I'm a Bronco czars. I'm glad you don't play guitar. I'd have to quit. You pushed my limits. You beat the living out of me, man. This is, I just love this.
His reaction totally sealed the deal. We know we did a good job. First thing, you know, it was a nice truck, but we had to get it in, get it up on the lift and just rip everything out.
Yep.
Everything is 100% brand new.
The long 4-link bars, extended travel coilover shocks, so you could take this thing through anything and ride comfortably.
Michigan swamps haven't got a prayer. I see it all. The custom bumpers, the lights, the roof rack is just unbelievable. With all the unique creative touches, you kept that old bobtail original classic Bronco image, but you fortified and augmented it. It's Bronco art. It's got that burnt orange copper bronze thing going on. And you even got the matching bronze on the axles and on the pigs.
With the black suspension, you know, black frame. You want a little color down underneath there, right?
This color combination is absolutely perfect. And the word perfect is so rare nowadays.
Ted, I know you're going to be spending a lot of time in it.
I will.
Check this out.
Let's check it out. Oh, boy. Look at this. Are you kidding me? Look at my new home on wheels.
Right, so we just ripped everything down to the sheet metal, upgraded everything. The seats, the headliner, the door panels. We just had to incorporate.
Great touch, man. Those look like Nugentized door panels to me. Perfect. The more you can Nugentize, the better life you have. You've really checked off all the boxes. This is going to be my daily driver. It's not a show truck, but it's a go truck that happens to be a show truck. And I'm not going to treat it too tenderly. I will respect your artistry, but she's going to be a workhorse.
I know you had to keep the Eagle. We had to keep the Eagle.
Had to keep the Eagle.
But, you know, we kept it. I just had to relocate a little bit. It's still here, right in interior with it. You can touch it at all times.
You made a great decision, man. Thank you so much.
Well, if you like this, wait till you see under the hood.
I can't wait to see under the hood. I love under the hood. It's all awesome, but I have a funny feeling this is going to be my favorite.
Me too.
Oh, my God. I don't think that's legal in Detroit. That is so beautiful. Look at that.
The engine that came in here, it was all right.
It's nice.
Nothing compared to the new Coyote, especially with the supercharger on. Max tune, you're probably about 7.
That'll do.
Push a little over 7.
That'll do. That'll get me where I'm going. To get this beast in an old Bronco, congratulations. You
One
guys
thing we
are
wanted to
animals.
do for you was leave everything you need accessible. Now that, out of sight, out of
It's
mind.
an engineering masterpiece. Again, this is the way everybody should do it. That engine compartment is so clean and so efficient. What he does to the engine bay, it's literally artwork. I had visions and outrageous ideas, but you guys actually kicked my ass. I'm going to go to these old Bronco rallies, and the rest of the Broncos are going to part like the Red Sea.
Well, let's go for a ride.
Let's go for a ride. I'm driving.
All right. We all put 100% in this Bronco. Totally transformed this whole truck.
It's a huge honor for myself and my team to put our skills, our passion, and our just love for what we do into a project like this. You know, it doesn't get better than that.